The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Like I told you guys, I was gonna come back live right after the Inoue fight. We're back live again after the Inoue fight. I'm tired. Who gives a damn? Because like Floyd Mayweather said, to be the best, you got to put in overtime. So we put in that overtime because we love the boxing fans. We care about the sport of boxing, and this sport moves fast, and I got the shoulders to burden it and carry it. Now, look, obviously, guys, we're gonna talk about Naoya Inoue. We're gonna talk about Murodjon Akmadaliev shitting the bed, and not really even trying to fight. We're going to talk about Naoya Inoue boxing, probably his most mature fight to date, and giving him his flowers for that, and we'll talk about what's next for him. But before I get into any of that, it just happened, guys. It literally happened during the broadcast, during the Inoue fight. It was reported that, an icon of British boxing and definitely someone that made his mark in the sport of boxing has passed away. Suddenly at the age of 46. Rest in peace to Ricky Hatton. Ricky Hatton was found dead like this morning, I think in his house. So rest in peace to Ricky Hatton. Before I get into like Inoue and MJ, because I have a lot to say about that, let me share for a couple of minutes. Let me just share what Ricky Hatton meant to me as a boxing fan, because I grew up in the 2000s, so some of my earliest memories of boxing, they include Ricky Hatton. They include, watching Ricky Hatton versus Floyd, Ricky Hatton versus Pacquiao, Ricky Hatton versus Kostya Tszyu, seeing Ricky Hatton in Fight Night. Like, Ricky Hatton was just one of those names. If you grew up in the 2000s, you knew that name as a boxing fan. And he's one of the few fighters, speaking specifically from the American perspective, he's one of the few fighters that really, I think, made his mark here in America. Because, when he fought Floyd, 10,000 Brits came just to support him. You talk about those nights with Kostya Tszyu. You're talking about, a lot of British fighters get flack because they don't beat the Mexican fighters. Ricky Hatton wasn't one of those guys. He beat up Jose Luis Castillo. You understand? So, a true giant of the sport, a guy that always stepped up to the plate and fought the best, and was definitely a box office attraction in a sport where it's hard to be a box office attraction. Sometimes every now and then when I lay down, I hear the British fans in my head cheering, "There's only one Ricky Hatton," because that's the kind of impression his fights would leave on me as a kid. So rest in peace to him. It's unfortunate that he got that his life ended early. I don't know like what the extent of the death is, but what I do know is that Ricky Hatton wasn't always the most healthy guy in terms of how he looked and things like that. So it's unfortunate. And may God be with him and his family, and Campbell Hatton, who I know was a boxer. I know Campbell has just retired. Maybe Campbell Hatton comes back to boxing. But we'll see how it goes, man. But anyway, before I get into Inoue and dissect this piece by piece, I want to just give my respects to a true warrior, not just for British boxing, but boxing in general. A guy who really put on for the sport. A guy who didn't cheat the fan. A guy who really gave his blood, sweat, and tears and made every night and every fight count. Rest in peace, Ricky Hatton, and God bless him and his family. Now, shout out to everybody here. Listen, there's 60 of you guys here. It's your boy BT, the Untouchable True School Sports Empire. Brendan Taylor reporting to you guys live and direct from the Bay Area. I'm in training camp, with the future face of Japanese boxing, Yugo Osaki, but he's asleep right now. So I got to be in my little room and pace back and forth. But listen, there's 63 of you guys here. Before I give you all this game, before I talk about Inoue versus Akmadaliev, please do me a favor, because I'm here. I'm working that overtime for you guys. I'm really tired. I really should be asleep, but we're here for you guys. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Run it up so this video gets pushed out to as many people in the boxing world as humanly possible. And let me know let me know where you're watching from, what city, what state, what continent. And is there anybody from my second home of Japan in the building? Do we got Tokyo in the building? Do we got Kyoto in the building? Do we got Osaka in the building? Do we got Yokohama in the building? Let me know in the chat. And if you're in the States, let me know in the chat. But listen, guys, getting into the fight now, because I am tired and I don't know how long my energy is gonna hold up. But listen, guys, getting into the fight. We got first of all, I was very in the build up to this fight. I was very fair to Murodjon Akhmadaliev. I felt like, you know what, Murodjon does have some power. Murodjon does have some amateur background, and Murodjon is better than a lot of guys that Inoue is fighting, over the last couple of fights. So I gave him a chance. But for those of you guys who really, really watch me, you know that I never liked Murodjon Akhmadaliev. I always thought he was like overrated. I always thought he did the bare minimum. I always thought that people exaggerated how good he really was. But I was fair to him in the build-up to this fight. And I got to tell you guys this. I got to tell y'all straight like this. All the things I used to say about Murodjon, all those old feelings I had about Murodjon, they're back. Because this guy ran his mouth. He was talking. He was doing a whole lot of talking on the gram. He was doing a whole lot of talking on Twitter. Talking about Uzbek power this, Uzbek power that. He said that Inoue is ducking him and these kind of things, right? And he gets his chance to actually come out here and put his name on the map. And what does he do? There's no problem with losing. There's no problem with losing. I got no problem if you fight another great fighter and you step up to the plate and you lose. But one thing I will not accept is fighters running their mouth, getting a big opportunity, and not even trying to win, because it got to a point where he wasn't even trying to win. I mean, he couldn't do anything with Inoue. He got schooled. Listen. Murodjon Akhmadaliev exposed by the monster Naoya Inoue. Oh my God. Naoya Inoue has had some fighters that have gotten a lot of criticism, like guys like Paul Butler, guys like Yi Jun Kim. But you know what? Let me tip my cap to Paul Butler. Let me tip my cap to Yi Jun Kim, because as bad as as much of a mismatch as those guys were on paper, you know what they did that Murodjon couldn't do? They won a round. And in the case of Yi Jun Kim actually came to fight for as long as the fight lasted. It was his corner that threw the towel in. So, yeah, man. Paul Butler. I know some of you guys may scoff and laugh and say, Paul Butler. Yeah, Paul Butler. Paul Butler actually won some rounds off Inoue. Wasn't a whole lot of rounds, but he won some rounds off Inoue. MJ was just happy to be there. MJ was just happy to get a trip to Japan. MJ was just happy to be in the presence of the monster. MJ really isn't like that. And just so overrated. So overrated. Honestly. That's how I feel about MJ. It was one of the easiest fights in Naoya Inoue's career. I've come on here many times for live Inoue fights. I've been to Inoue fights. I've been covering Inoue for a long time. I've been the main person in America on YouTube covering him so consistently over these years, and I've been following Inoue. This is one of the easiest fights I ever seen for him ever. And MJ Akhmadaliev, garbage. Like I don't ever want to see him fight on TV again. I'm so serious. Like, I'm so unbelievably serious, because this dude did not try to win until like the last 10 seconds of the final round. So that's how I feel about him. Maybe he should go fight Stephen Fulton, then I'll go watch, but Fulton's at 130 now. I don't know. I don't really want to see MJ. I'm not concerned with him. I've never really been concerned with him. The only reason we're even talking about him is because he's fighting Inoue, and the only reason we ever talked about him was because he lost to Marlon Tapales, and also because he was supposed to fight Stephen Fulton and never did that. So that being said, I'm just glad that it's over. MJ is like oh my God, it's bad. But on the other hand, the reason why he looked bad, and we have to give some credit to we have to give an immense amount of credit to the monster, is because the monster made him look that bad. You know, and I've been saying it a lot in the build up to this fight. I said, you know what? For Naoya Inoue, this is the fight where he can truly show that he is pound for pound. Because what happens a lot of times in boxing is guys are so dominant, and we're used to seeing them win in such a fashion that sometimes we don't even give them credit for the other things they're really good at and the other qualities they do have. So in the case of Inoue, I hear a lot of people. Greg Hackett, shout out to Greg Hackett. He says, "What was the fight on?" The fight was on Facebook Live, on Top Rank's Facebook page. They had it on Top Rank's Facebook page. As crazy as it sounds, that's where it was. We had to watch it on the app. But one thing I will say is Inoue in this fight showed that he's a complete fighter. Everyone knows Inoue as this destructive guy who knocks everyone out and punches through the target, but we haven't really seen him have to use his boxing skills. And in this fight, it was I was really impressed with how he was able to circle the ring and get to the middle of the ring consistently. Anytime he was in the corner, he immediately knew, okay, circle out, get back to the center of the ring, stay sharp, keep the jab in his face. And he kept things pretty simple from the first like 5 to 6 rounds. But it got to a point where Murodjon couldn't land on him. And it got to a point where Murodjon was just too slow. And Inoue had been hit by him enough to kind of gauge his power. So then it got to a point where Inoue was holding his feet a lot more, like around the 7th round, 8th round. And he was literally daring this dude. He was right in front of Murodjon, daring this dude. Please hit me. Please throw something of consequence. Please overcommit so I can counter you. And Murodjon just wouldn't commit. He wouldn't commit like that. So the guy went from Inoue is ducking me to, not even throwing anything, not even throwing anything of consequence. Inoue made him put his hands in his pocket. But again, that's what great fighters do. A true pound for pound fighter can do things like that to a puncher, neutralize them and lower their punch output, and that's what he did. So he deserves. Inoue does deserve credit for that, because a lot of people were giving Murodjon a chance. There was a good amount of people saying that Inoue was avoiding Murodjon. And truth be told, Inoue hasn't gone this many rounds in a fight since the first Donaire fight, which is which is really insane when you think about it. Because tonight was the Monster's 26th straight world title appearance. 26 straight world title fights for the Monster. And this is the first time he's gone the distance since 2019, right? Yeah, I believe 2019. And that was the first Donaire fight. That was pre-COVID. You know what I'm saying? So that right there will tell you and show you on a performance-by-performance basis how dominant the Monster is. Now, I've been saying it for the longest time. I feel like it's worth repeating again. When you talk about the super bantamweight division and you talk about featherweight, like that neighborhood of fighters, there's only 2 fighters that I think can beat Naoya Inoue. Only 2. Every other fight is either a showcase fight or it's bullshit. But the only 2 fighters that I think can really beat Inoue at 122 and featherweight are the number one. Well, I won't number them, but I'll just say both guys. You got Junto Nakatani, the guy that's supposed to fight him if he beats Picasso next. And then you guys already know who the second one is. The other one is Angelo Leo at featherweight. I think Angelo's volume, his footwork, his body punching, just his style. It's gonna be difficult for Inoue to deal with. But one thing about it is a fight like that for Inoue is gonna do a whole lot for his confidence. Going 12 rounds, lowering his punch output. That's gonna be something like that he can build off of. So I'm really happy for him. I'm happy for him that he got to showcase that, because people always like, even people who have good like boxing minds, they don't give Inoue credit for his boxing IQ. They say, oh, he's just a knockout puncher. He just finishes everybody. But nah, he showed it. He showed that he could do it tonight. They said Leo barely beat Kameda. He beat Kameda. He won about 8 or 9 rounds. Just because he didn't knock him out doesn't mean that Kameda. It was on foreign soil. He got the job done. All I know is when he fights Inoue, Inoue is getting packed up. Inoue, you're going to respect Tomoe Kameda. I'm going to tell you that right now. If they ever fight, y'all going to learn to respect Tomoe Kameda because Inoue is getting put in the blender when they fight. I can't wait for that fight. Just keep winning. It's just keep winning. He keeps winning. Angelo keeps winning. And you guys will get one of the best fights in boxing, which I've been saying for a long time. I've been saying that I think objectively, like, Inoue versus Angelo is one of the best fights in boxing. But we shall see. If they're both truly meant to fight each other, they'll both just keep winning. And that's what it's going to be. It's like Crawford-Canelo. Crawford-Canelo was only a possibility because they kept winning, right? So if it's meant to be, it'll be. But anyway, smash that like button, guys. We here. There's 170 of you guys here. Run it up. We only got 35 likes. Run it up, man. I'm going to be here for like at least an hour or hour and a half. We'll see. We'll see how the energy levels are doing. But give me your thoughts. I want to hear what you guys got to think because there really isn't a whole lot to make of the MJ fight. Like MJ came, he sold us the narrative that Inoue was ducking him, and he just kept talking about power this and power that, and he had nothing for him at all throughout the whole duration of the fight. So that was pretty routine. I didn't give MJ a round. I was trying to find a round for him. I couldn't find one round for him. So I think, you know, to be honest with you, I really don't even want to talk about the fight that much. If you guys got questions, you can ask. But let's talk about what's next. Because there's not much worth talking about with that last fight, with the MJ fight. MJ didn't do anything, and in a way, just boxed his head off. The next fight is going to be, what? Picasso? Now, honestly, when you know, I've been shitting all over the Picasso fight. I don't like the Picasso fight. However, after what I just saw with MJ, maybe the Picasso fight ain't so bad. You know, at least Picasso's going to come forward and look to make the fight happen and let his hands go. And maybe Inoue will knock him out, but it'll be fun while it lasts. You know, that kind of a fight. It'll be that kind of a fight. And it'll be a chance for Inoue to see another volume puncher before he fights another volume puncher in Junto Nakatani. So in that regard, it's a good fight for him to get ready for the fight that is going to be the fight, one of the legacy-defining fights of his career against Junto Nakatani. So my only concern really for the Picasso fight is that he's going to get injured. Picasso likes to come forward. He smothers you. You know, I could see a scenario where maybe he gets real rugged in there, in a way lands a punch the wrong way. Maybe he overextends, messes up. Maybe he re-aggravates that bicep because if you guys remember when he was getting ready to fight Stephen Fulton in April of 2023, the first time the fight got postponed because he tore his bicep. So I feel like that's going to be in play with Picasso because of how Picasso fights. Inoue could probably suffer an injury and the Nakatani fight can get pushed back, which I would hate. I would really hate that. So that's like one of the main reasons why I don't like that fight. That and the fact that I don't think Picasso really deserves the fight. Because Picasso just fought Inoue Kameda, who is Tomoki's cousin, and he's like a domestic level Japanese fighter. Like he's not even on that world level. And I saw a neck and neck fight. I didn't see a guy in Picasso who is a top contender. I saw like a guy that's neck and neck with a domestic level Japanese fighter. So I wasn't overly impressed with him, and I've never really been overly impressed with him. But you know what? Again, Murodjon Akhmadaliev put the bar so low for Inoue opponents that, like, you know what? Anybody who remotely just shows up and wins a round is going to be okay with me at this point. That was bad, you know? Picasso is not a power puncher. He's just a volume puncher. Yeah, I don't think he's a power puncher either. He's a guy that puts punches together. He puts the numbers together as far as the output and things like that. So that's why I'm saying it'll be good for Inoue to see something like that before he fights Junto. Even though what I will say is Picasso's a different type of volume puncher. You know, Junto's a southpaw. He's long. I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't know what the exact measurements are, but you know, from what I can remember, I would think Junto's a bit rangier than Picasso. Even though Picasso is tall and Picasso is rangy and Picasso does have a good frame on him, I kind of want to just get to the damn Inoue Nakatani fight at this point. Like, I don't like the fact that they're going to have all these fights because it's just giving the opponents too many chances to knock one of them out and ruin the big fight. I want to just get to the big fight. But you know what? As I've learned over the years, if these guys that we want to see fight in these quote-unquote big fights can't beat these underdogs and guys who are supposed to beat, then maybe they don't deserve to be in those big fights. You understand? So if Inoue and Nakatani are who they've proven to be so far in their career and who I think they are, Inoue should beat Picasso and Nakatani should beat that Mexican guy he's fighting, right? So, and that's another thing, right? That's another thing. You got Inoue and Nakatani both fighting Mexican fighters. Now, one thing we know about boxing is with these Mexican fighters, you don't got to know who they are. You don't got to know, have never seen them. You know for a fact that these Mexican fighters are going to come to fight, and they've always been known to upset the apple cart and ruin everything. So I feel like that's in play here. You got two Japanese fighters fighting two Mexicans, and throughout the course of boxing history, the main kryptonite of the Japanese style, the explosive, sometimes rigid but very structured, disciplined, mid-range power punching style of the Japanese. Throughout the course of boxing history, the kryptonite of the Japanese style has been the Mexican volume punching style. That is a fact. Think about Ricardo Lopez against Hideki Ohashi. Look at Daniel Zaragoza versus all the Japanese fighters he fought, like Kiyoshi Hatanaka. Look at, even if you want to give a more recent example, go look at Venado Lopez versus Rhea Abbey. There's a million examples I could give of the high volume punching Mexican style being victorious and triumphant over the Japanese traditional boxing style. So I'm not going to talk about Junto's opponent because I don't really know a ton about him, so I won't even be intellectually dishonest with you guys. But if he is anything like a regular Mexican fighter, you're playing with fire. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, shout out to my boy, Mr. Miyagi, with the super chat. He says, "What's up, BT? Thank you for your hard work with the lives. This weekend has been great. I can't wait to see Eddie Hearn's stupid face when he's asked about MJ. Have you seen who Junto was supposed to fight in December?" Yeah, I forgot the guy's name. He's like he's a Mexican guy. He's 20-0 with like 18 knockouts, something like that. So I don't know a lot about him. I'll be honest with you. When I do, I'll make a video about it. But one thing we know about these guys from Mexico is they all come to win. And like I said, I gave you my my historical examples of how those styles in the past have troubled the Japanese style. And thank you for your contribution, and thank you for recognizing the hard work we're doing. Because forget even just YouTube, guys. Like I barely slept. I've been up since like 7 in the morning this morning. I was in the gym with Yugo Osaki today. Took him to training. Did some training myself. Then we went to a watch party. Then I went live earlier after Crawford Canelo. Now I'm live again. And then after this, we're going to get some much harder rest. But it's all good, man. This is the life we sign up for, the sport of boxing, where life never stops, where there's always the next fight. So, yeah. Yeah, great example. Thank you. One of you guys mentioned Yoshiki Takei. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I snuck in some rest. I watched Uni Takada versus Matsumoto, which, by the way, crazy fight, like crazy headbutt. Uni Takada got knocked out with a damn headbutt. His forehead was gushing, so I hate to see that for Uni Takada. Uni's been working very hard, and I like Uni a lot as a person, so I never want to see that happen to him. But I didn't get a chance to watch Yoshiki Takei because he fought a Mexican, but he lost. And I'm not surprised because, again, if you have like the prototypical Japanese, like mid-range, like rigid style, it normally gets found out against the Mexican volume punching style. And on top of that, I never really, like, I've been telling you guys, Yoshiki Takei is overrated. I've been telling you that. He's a good fighter, but he's overrated. He's not better than Seiya Tsutsumi. He's not better than Junto. He's not the second or first best bantamweight out there. That's what I'm saying. So, oh my God. Shout out to my boy, Mr. Miyagi, with the 50 euro super chat. He says, "Much love from the UK. Keep it going, fella. I made some money on Canelo versus Crawford." Well, shout out to you, champ. Shout out to you. And I guess since you brought it up, I gotta shout him out again. Shout out to Terrence Crawford, putting himself in rarefied air. 5 division champion. 3-time undisputed champion, the first fighter in the history of boxing to be the lineal lightweight champion and then win the lineal super middleweight title. Amazing. BT said last time Takei is overrated, and it shows. He is. I respect him. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's a good fighter, but I think he's a great athlete because he came from kickboxing. He became world champion. So that deserves respect. But when I was in Japan, I spent a lot of time in Yokohama, and I just remember he was getting so much hype in Japan. I couldn't wrap my head around it. I'm like, he's good, but he's not that good. And then I personally just feel like Seiya Tsutsumi is better than him, and Seiya Tsutsumi is not getting the opportunity. He's not getting the love. He's not getting the shine. He's not getting the recognition, and it's pissing me off. That's probably the main thing in Japanese boxing pissing me off right now is how they put Takei way up here and they put Tsutsumi way down here. It's ridiculous. Ezekiel Lopez says, dog, I just woke up and saw who won Inoue versus MJ and saw your title, Ricky. I had no way, bro. That's sad. I used to really like him. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. The way I found out was I was watching the Inoue fight like most of the people in this chat. And they said, I think it was in round 5 or 6, they said, we're sorry to bring you guys the unfortunate news that Ricky Hatton has passed away. And I'm like, no way. There's no way Ricky Hatton just died. In between Crawford and Canelo and in between Inoue and MJ, Ricky Hatton just died on us. So that's unfortunate. I never had the honor to meet Ricky Hatton, but that was actually a fighter that I would have loved to have met, because he's great. He was not great. I don't think he was a great fighter in terms of I don't think he's an all-time great or anything like that, but he was great for the sport. He was not a guy that, never cheated the fans and always gave his best efforts and stepped up to the plate, fought the best, had a great run at 140, wasn't the same at 47, but again, he left his one thing about boxing and one thing about life is I think everybody is trying to leave their dent in the world and make their life worth something, and Ricky Hatton definitely did that in his 46 years on earth. So God bless him, man. God bless his family. I could only imagine. Didn't you say Inoue was ducking MJ? I said that if Inoue left the 122-pound division without fighting MJ, that yes, I would have considered it a duck, even though I didn't care about it. Because my thing was, I never thought he had to fight MJ, but he made it so, Inoue made it such a priority to stay at super bantamweight, a weight class he done been conquered already, to where I was like, you know what, if you're going to stay here and wait for Junto and not go to featherweight, then okay. Then fight MJ. He's your mandatory challenger. So at one point in time, I was like, yeah, if he doesn't fight him and he stays in this weight class, then yes, it's a duck. But he eventually wound up fighting him, so I never really continued saying that. But I never said he ducked him. I said if he stays at 122 and chooses to not fight him and drops the belt, that is a duck. But he didn't do that. So, we didn't put the D word on Inoue. He's not a duck. But either way, I kind of wish he would have. Honestly, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but after what I just watched, I would have been okay if he ducked him. That was bad. I was rooting for Inoue, but I was a bit worried about his physique since he looks so much skinnier compared to MJ. Well, muscles don't win fights, guys. Muscles don't win fights. Skills win fights. And Inoue is very quick. And see, the thing is, when you fight a guy like Naoya Inoue, the number one thing you must solve, and nobody solved it so far. The only guy who came remotely close to solving it was Donaire in the first fight. But the one thing that you must solve if you're fighting Inoue is, how do you neutralize or negate his first step? Because when Inoue explodes off the back foot and he commits to his offense, he covers ground as quickly and as fast as anybody in boxing, right? So if you don't know how to negate that or somewhat neutralize that, you're going to be in for a long, painful night, as pretty much everybody he's fought that's happened to so far, right? So it takes a fighter with a lot of balls, IQ, experience, timing, volume, if you will, and these guys he's fighting just they don't have the answers. So, and we'll see if Picasso will be the next fighter to have to try and solve the Inoue puzzle. And then if he don't solve it, then Junto will be the next guy to solve the Inoue puzzle. And then if he don't solve it, then Inoue goes featherweight, and Inoue will look to become the 8th 5-division champion in the history of boxing. He would join Mayweather, Pacquiao, Leonard, Duran, Hearns, De La Hoya, and now Terrence Crawford. So, if and when he goes featherweight, if he wins a world title against anybody, he will join that very exclusive list of boxing's 5-division champions. So that's really what I'm looking forward to, if you want to be honest. BT, can you tell everyone how Hatton died? YouTube keeps deleting my comments. I don't know how he died. The reports just said from the couple reports I read is that they just found him just dead. So I don't really know the details of it. I just know that it's a big story. Every boxing media outlet is reporting about it. They literally mentioned it in the middle of the Inoue broadcast. So yeah, it's a reality. So I'm not happy about it. I like Ricky Hatton. I like Ricky Hatton. I was just watching Ricky Hatton fights like maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and now he's not here. So, the Hand History Vault says, "Oh, he committed suicide." Yo, I don't know what it is, and maybe if anybody British is here, y'all could tell me. I don't know what it is, but suicide is like really high over there. I mean, maybe it's the weather because I've been to the UK in December before. It's like really depressing. So I could see it from that standpoint. But why do you guys think there's so much suicide in the UK? Is it the weather? Is it the culture? What is it? Because funny enough, right? Funny enough, I had a friend in the UK, and he actually used to watch this channel. Shout out to my boy Johnny Berba, guy who had a YouTube channel. He used to do like life advice, and he was a boxing fan, and he was a good dude, man. And my guy Johnny Berba, right? I used to talk to him all the time, and I didn't hear from Johnny for months. So like this week actually, I reached out to him and I went on his Instagram page because I seen he hasn't posted in like almost a year, like 10 months, and then I come to find out he died back in November, and he threw himself in front of a train. So, I don't know, man. People go through shit on a daily basis. We all have our demons, and just R.I.P. Ricky Hatton. As far as MEZBX says, fighting on Facebook was a terrible move by Top Rank. No highlights anywhere on social media. American boxing promotion is terrible. Yeah, I'm waiting to see what the final numbers were, because when it was the 8th round, and I screenshotted it, around the 8th round on Facebook, they had about 210,000 viewers, which, I don't know what y'all think about that, but Inoue had 210,000 viewers on Facebook around the 8th and 9th round. So, we'll see what the final numbers are, because it was 210,000 viewers at once, but they calculate views for the whole stream. So we'll see what the final numbers are when they come out. But listen, I don't want to make this a doom and gloom live. Today was a good day for boxing. Terrence Crawford, did something very historical and amazing today. Naoya Inoue showed his pound for pound complete skills. Lester Martinez and Billy gave us a great fight. Brandon Adams and Boachuk gave us a great fight. So today was actually one of those rare days. It was a good day in boxing, until excluding Ricky Hatton passing away. If we're talking about just the fights, it was a good day in boxing. So I don't want to make this like a doom and gloom live about the state of American boxing and American promotion and all this kind of stuff. Like, we have plenty of time to talk about how fucked up boxing in America is. Shout out to David. He says, dude, I'm just going to sleep the day away. How am I going to watch football after this? I don't know, man. I don't know. Luckily for me, I don't watch football anymore. I haven't cared about football in about 10 years. So as soon as this live is done, I'm going to sleep until my body wakes up. And I'll probably sleep a little bit extra because it's been a long day today. But yeah, it's crazy. Inoue won by stoppage or decision, Alex? Inoue won by decision. Which, you know what? I'm actually more impressed by that. I'm more impressed by him winning by decision. If he would have knocked Murodjon out, that would have just been like a routine Inoue fight. Like, I think it was great to see Inoue box and show his ring generalship and show, his counter punching and show, that, hey, he's not just this seek and destroy apex predator, that there's a really sharp boxing brain up there, which I don't think he gets enough credit for. I'll give you an example. I'll give you a perfect example of somebody in a time I talked to somebody who didn't give Inoue his credit for his boxing IQ, and that was I remember one time I had Rick Laser on here a couple years ago, and he was naming his smartest fighters in boxing. He gave me a whole list, and one of the guys he had mentioned was Sonny Edwards. He mentioned Sonny Edwards and Bam Rodriguez, right? And then I said Naoya Inoue, and then he was like, no, he's more of like a knockout artist, a seek and destroy type guy. So he was downplaying his boxing IQ. I've heard a lot of people in the boxing world, because he just knocks everyone out and he's so dominant, they say, oh, well, his boxing IQ ain't the best. So look, in my opinion, in this particular fight against a puncher, I feel like he was great. Every time his back got close to the ropes, immediately he circled back and got to the center of the ring. He showed great ring awareness. He showed great ring generalship. And he showed why he is who he is in boxing. Inoue can win a belt at 130 if he boxes like this. I think he could win a belt 130. 130 is not the greatest weight class, to be honest. It's not out the realm of possibility. Like, think about it, guys. Inoue has jumped weight classes before. Stephen Fulton is fighting Washaki Foster. What do you guys think? What if Inoue beats Junto, right? Hypothetically, Fulton beats Foster, and let's just say Inoue jumps up 2 weight classes and challenges Fulton for the WBC super featherweight title. What do y'all think about that? That'd be crazy. But like, I don't understand why people are surprised that Inoue can box. I mean, the dude doesn't have bad fundamentals at all. He's got very good fundamentals, very good balance. He's very explosive. He's got a very quick first step. Like, he has all the attributes of a guy that, if he wanted to, could box, right? If he could just be a technical fighter and outbox you and outpoint you. But people just say that he's a knockout artist. I don't get it. I don't understand. Did this fight raise your respect for MJ at all? I thought MJ fought to not get stopped, kind of, but credit to him, he showed great durability. No, this fight to me, so you already know, David, because you watch me. You're normally here for all these lives, and you watch a lot of my videos. You already know what I think about MJ, right? But I was in the build up to this fight. I was very fair to him. I said, you know what? MJ can punch. MJ's gonna come in here hungry. MJ has something to prove. This is his big opportunity. Let me give this guy a chance. He's gonna come to win, and he didn't come to win. He came to win for maybe about 3 or 4 rounds, and then once he realized that it was gonna take once he realized the price of what it would take to win, and he realized he didn't have it, he fought to not get knocked out and get the moral victory of being the first guy to take Inoue the distance since 2019. That's really and truthfully what it is. So. No, if anything, my old thoughts, my old perspectives, my old feelings about Murodjon have flared back up. Super overrated, MJ is a great athlete, but not a great boxer. Yeah, I would agree. I just think he's real strong. In order for MJ to be his most effective, the opponent has to hold his feet and allow him to set his feet to load up and throw big power punches on him. If not, you get in trouble. I talk negatives on Inoue due to his resume, but MJ's performance was dog shit, so I'll give Inoue a pass. It was negative for a guy who made all these claims. Yo, Murodjon said some disrespectful ass shit to Inoue, and I haven't forgotten about it. Some people have forgotten about it. I haven't. I remember towards the end of 2024, he was telling Inoue that, you don't follow the code of the Bushido. And he was taking cultural shots at Inoue. And he did all that just to fight the way he fought. It's disgraceful. Oh, now it's time to downplay Inoue's opponents because they lost. You guys are miserable. No. I'm actually not miserable at all. I'm very happy about life. I'm in the Bay Area. Life is amazing. I'm eating good for the most part, excluding today. I've been resting well. Life is good. I'm not miserable, and I'm not hating on. I'm not downplaying MJ. I've always downplayed MJ. I've downplayed MJ since before this fight was ever a thing. Ask anybody in here. I've been downplaying MJ for a while. Because I think he's always done the bare minimum, and he's never ever been close to as good as advertised. And then I finally am fair with him, and I give him a chance to prove himself, and he doesn't even try to win. I don't think he really tried to win, you know. And if he did try to win, then that's even worse. You know, people don't like me downplaying MJ, but they had no problem with MJ downplaying Stephen Fulton when he should have fought him for undisputed before Inoue got to super bantamweight. So make it make sense. Jesus M asked, was Joel Diaz there? Yes, Joel Diaz was there, and I'm gonna tell you guys this: the fight was so non-competitive. It got to a point where Joel Diaz just told MJ, "Uzbek power, you got Uzbek power. Do it for your son, you know. Do it for your son. Do it for baby MJ, you know." Because they ran out of ideas. They knew they couldn't really do nothing with Inoue, and he wasn't on that level, you know. So, you know, maybe he can go fight like a Ramon Cardenas. That'd be a good fight. Ramon Cardenas, you know, guys like that. You know, go do those fights. But that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, I love trash talk. I love when fighters talk that shit. Listen, that's one of the things I live for in boxing. I love when a fighter comes and talks trash. But one thing about it is, okay, once you talk that trash, you gotta back it up. You understand? You gotta stand on business. And Murodjon didn't come. Forget even standing on business. Murodjon didn't even win a round. He didn't win one round, guys. Understand me? Like, he won less rounds than Paul Butler. He won less rounds than Yi Jun Kim, who only lasted about 4 or 5 rounds himself. So, I mean, there's a lot to say about that. Joel Diaz keeps taking L's from Inoue after saying it's not hard to beat him. Yeah, like, that's my thing too. They were one of the main talking points heading into this fight was the fact that basically Joel Diaz and his camp and Murodjon were saying because they've already seen Inoue, because Cardenas fought Inoue, that gives them the extra advantage. And Murodjon, listen, respect to Ramon Cardenas. Ramon Cardenas wasn't getting his respect going into the Inoue fight, but respect to him. He fought a fight worthy of praise. He fought a fight worthy of like, you know, his stock going through the roof and getting bigger opportunities. He deserves respect as far as his abilities and how he performed. You know, every fighter will get the bare minimum respect for stepping in the ring. I will give MJ that. He's stepping into the ring. So what can I say? I'm just a guy with a YouTube channel. But I'm saying that's the bare minimum respect that we give fighters. But then there's that next level of respect, which is the respect we give them for how they perform, right? So Murodjon will get the bare minimum respect, but he's not going to get the respect on his performance. You understand me? And especially because of all these things they said in the media. They didn't stand on business. They robbed Inoue by not giving him a 120 to 108. This is true. All the judges, I think all the judges had it like 118, 110. All the judges had it like 118, 110. So they actually somehow found 2 rounds for Murodjon, which I don't know how they did. Maybe they liked the fact that he was aggressive, and when he had Inoue on the ropes and he was hitting his arms and hitting his gloves, maybe they thought those shots landed. So maybe that's why he won some rounds. But really, I can't even find a round, let alone 2. I just don't get fans. A fighter clearly doesn't come to win, and yet they blame it due to his opponent's skills, then say, well, if he is tired, he'll just get KO'd. It's sad. Yeah, man. He get like Murodjon is Murodjon, right? I always think about what Chris Eubank Sr. said, because he always talks about the Warriors code, and he always talks about like the path that fighters walk and what it takes to be great in the sport of boxing. He said that in boxing, to be great and to be remembered and to be someone who really left their dent in the boxing universe, like a Ricky Hatton, right? R.I.P. Ricky Hatton. You have to go above and beyond the call of duty in a fight of massive consequence. You understand? A big fight. You can now, if things get hard and you want to pack it in and it gets hard for you, if you know, even if your eye socket breaks, right, and you decide not to go above and beyond the call of duty, of course, regular people will understand that. But after they say good fight and pat you on the back, you will get forgotten about, and you will not be remembered, and you'll be nothing but a mere footnote in history. So I always think about that, because that's what Eubank Senior said, and I agree with it. Like, you have to be willing to go above and beyond the call of duty. And like even Inoue is who he is because when he fought Donaire in the first fight and Donaire broke his freaking orbital bone and he was seeing 3 of Donaire in the ring, he could have packed it up. He could have folded. He could have folded in that moment in time against a very dangerous, experienced fighter like Donaire, but he didn't do that. Inoue went above and beyond the call of duty and produced the fight of the year that year and got a great win. And that's why he's getting paid the pay grade that he's at. That's why he is on the pound list. That's why he's going to go to the Hall of Fame, because he's consistently went above and beyond the call of duty. Terrence Crawford, same thing, above and beyond the call of duty. Alexander Usyk, Dmitry Bivol, above and beyond the call of duty. You can't be great in life or in boxing if you don't go above and beyond the call of duty. So, yeah, MJ, enjoy the payday, but like I'm not asking when the next MJ fight is. Are you guys? Are you guys asking for the next MJ fight? So yeah, man. What do you guys think about? Okay, so now let's talk about this. By the way, shout out to everybody here. Make sure you smash that like button to all 85 of you out there. It's your boy BT live in the wee hours of the morning. True School after dark. True School in the morning. Coffee with True School, whatever you want to call it. We here talking that world-class boxing talk, waking the people up, and definitely trying to make sense of what we just saw and look at the bigger picture, right? So you have this impending mega fight between Inoue and Junto Nakatani, provided, of course, that they both win the next fights. What do you guys, in the chat, what do you guys think about Inoue and Nakatani as far as, like, based on what we've seen from Inoue? Because truthfully, I think the way he fought against Murodjon is how he's going to try to fight against Junto Nakatani. Now, the only difference is that Junto Nakatani isn't built like a bodybuilder. Junto Nakatani actually has lean muscle mass. He's not stiff like Murodjon. He's a volume puncher. He can actually, he's a volume puncher with heavy hands and creative setups. So I'm intrigued. If Inoue boxes like that against Junto, I'm intrigued, because one thing I thought Inoue did really well in this fight was he understood when to sit down on his punches. He understood when to come forward and put Murodjon Akhmadaliev on that back foot. And I just thought his ring IQ tonight shined bright, like shined super bright tonight. He made sure, another thing that I thought Inoue did a great job of in this fight is that he avoided 50-50 exchanges, right? Which I think was very important for him to win this fight, because with Murodjon being such a big puncher, you don't want to get into a bunch of 50-50 exchanges, because if you lose even one of those 50-50 exchanges against a puncher like Murodjon, you can get knocked out. And in fact, in the last 10 seconds of the last round, Murodjon landed his big right hook on Inoue. It was probably the best punch he landed the whole fight. And he found it in the last 10 seconds. Inoue's spit was flying out of his mouth. His legs buckled a little bit, but it didn't matter. It was too little, way too late, and Inoue wound up surviving the last 10 seconds, and he got a wide decision win. But Murodjon couldn't find that shot. So for the most part, when it comes to Inoue, the boxer, Inoue the mover, Inoue being sharp, very hard guy to beat. Junto likes to patiently box, waiting to counter punch at the perfect time. Exactly. Um, and on top of that, like I said, stamina is ridiculous. I would say Junto is one of the top 10 volume punchers in the sport today. Junto also is a great finisher. And the one thing I'm really hoping for Junto, because he's fighting some Mexican guy who's like 20-0 in his next fight. If he wins that fight, the best scenario would be for him to either A, go the full distance against a Mexican guy and win, or B, go at least like 7 to 10 rounds and get a stoppage. I don't think it's helping Junto to keep knocking these guys out inside of 6 rounds. Now, do I think Junto Nakatani has bad stamina? No. Do I think he would have a problem getting through 12 rounds? No, I don't. But going 12 rounds in the gym is not like going 12 rounds under the lights. When you're in the gym, you're wearing 16-ounce gloves. You're wearing, heavier gloves for sparring. You're wearing headgear. There's nobody there watching you. There's no pressure on you really in terms of, the crowd or the energy. Sometimes in the gym, especially if the gym is real quiet, there might not be a lot of energy in the gym, and the fighter may feel flat. I know a lot of fighters that they feed off the energy of the crowd, and they perform better when the lights are on because they feed off that energy. And when they go into sparring, they have a lot of flat sparring sessions because there's no pressure on them. There's no energy to really feed off of. You understand? So, yeah, for his sake, I would like to see him get 7 to 10 rounds in his next fight. Get probably a stoppage. That'd probably be the best thing, because he would get the rounds, right. It would give him more confidence, and he's big time puncher, so it would still send that message that, hey, in a way, like, when I touch you, you're gonna be in some trouble. So Nakatani has a variety of punches and a very long reach. He does. That he does. I'm new to being a box fan, but even I can see that Naoya and Bud are on a different level. I mean, so far, ain't nobody came close. Ain't nobody really came close to beating these guys. I mean, the closest guy that came to beating Bud was what, like Madrimov, or who? Who could we say gave Bud his hardest fight? Maybe Sean Porter before he got knocked out. Mean Machine. I don't know. I think those guys are boxing royalty at this point. Like Terrence Crawford, Naoya, Inoue, they're boxing royalty. These guys are on a different level, and whoever beats one of these guys is gonna become something special in their own right. I would go as far as to say whoever beats one of these guys probably go to the Hall of Fame, because that's how much a win over these guys would hold, for a fighter. Yeah, the guy Junto's fighting looks good. Not known, but 18 KOs at 20. That's not bad. Yeah, I got to watch him fight, but I mean, he's Mexican and he got a good knockout ratio, so we'll see, man. The last Mexican that Junto fought that had a good knockout ratio was David Cuellar, and he knocked him out in 2 rounds. So we'll see it. We'll see if this Mexican can finally give him some resistance and some much needed durability, because he needs it. He really, really needs it. And my man SHPVT says Crawford should go to middleweight to become a 6th division champion. I literally just said that on the last live earlier. I just said that because somebody asked me if I was like Terrence Crawford's manager, what route would I have him go? And I would say that's the only thing he hasn't done. He's been champion from lightweight to 47 and 54 and now at 68, but never at 60. And the middleweight division is one of boxing's glamour divisions, even though it really, really sucks right now. But that's the thing. The middleweight division really, really sucks right now. So Terrence can go pick off a belt there and become a 6th division champion. And for me, if he's going to continue to box, that would be the perfect way to go out on top. Personally, though, I think he should go out right now on top. There's no greater high he's going to get than this. Inoue is still retiring at 35 years old. Well, if that's the case, if Inoue only has, if he is retiring at 35 years old, then that means he's got roughly 3 years left. So we'll see how it goes. Who's Junto fighting? Junto's fighting the guy. His name is like Sebastian or Sergio or something like that. He's 20-0 with 18 knockouts from Mexico. He said he's retiring by 2027. Well, that's good. That's actually perfect. Want to know why it's perfect? Because when Inoue retires, let me see, we're in 2025 right now, so 2 more years. By that time, Yugo Osaki will be like 24 years old. He'll already be like a multiple division, or at least a one-time champion. But I would say by then a multiple division champion. And you guys gonna see. I can't wait. I can't wait for October 3rd. I'm just like counting down the milliseconds to October 3rd. Kid is special. Bud is going to fight Canelo again for an even bigger payday. I don't blame him. He deserves it being frozen out of the big fights for most of his career. I mean, if he wants to fight Canelo again for more money, I mean, great. Get your money. It's a hard game, and if the money's there, you go ahead and you take it. But personally, I would love to see him just go out on a high. Like Michael Jordan in basketball. I know he came back. He played for the Wizards. But I don't think Jordan should have even came back and played for the Wizards. I think he should have just after '98. That should have been it. Our last image of Jordan should have just been him hitting that shot in game 6 or game 7 against the Utah Jazz. Where he pushed off Byron Russell and hit that mid-range jumper. That should have just been the last image of Jordan. But he did have those years on the Wizards, which were good years, but they weren't Jordan-esque, Jordan standard type years. You understand me? So kind of the same thing here. I'm not saying Terrence Crawford is Jordan, but he's damn great. I don't want to fight Canelo again because I want the lasting image to be is this fight. He deserves for people to remember the end of his career by this right here, this amazing accomplishment he just made. And plus, let's just say right now, look, Canelo. We know Canelo has a pattern of not being able to really do anything with these elite fighters, but if he makes this fight even a little bit closer in the rematch, he still is Canelo Alvarez. He's still a big money-making attraction. Who's to say they don't mess around and rob Crawford? But that's neither here nor there. Do I think the Canelo fight was staged? I mean, nothing at that level. Nothing is ever off the table. But no, it wasn't. I don't think it was staged. I really think Canelo didn't show any problems in this fight that he hasn't already shown against Bivol, Mayweather, and Golovkin in the first fight. All the problems and weaknesses he had his whole career, they got shown again. And as we say here on True School, exposed. Do we really need Inoue versus Picasso fight? Let's make Inoue versus Ball for 126. That's not happening, champ. They've already had this Picasso fight locked in. But I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't want to see the Inoue Picasso fight. And I've been very, very honest. I've been very, very transparent. I've been very, very forthcoming about how I feel about that fight. I feel like Inoue versus Picasso is one of the gayest fights in boxing. That's really how I feel about it. It's a terrible fight. Dude just fought Kameda, not Tomoki Kameda, but he fought Kiyonosuke Kameda, his cousin, who really is a domestic level Japanese fighter, and he was neck and neck with him. So no, they shouldn't be fighting. What are your thoughts on Crawford potentially going to light heavyweight for a fight against Bivol? That sounds, you know what? I won't even say that because I said that for this fight. Whatever. Listen, my thing is this: if Terrence Crawford feels he can win, then whatever he says is correct because he ain't been wrong yet. So why not? Do you think Inoue lost KO power? He hurt MJ, but he didn't initiate the finish. He's fighting bigger punchers now. He's fighting bigger guys, right? You understand? So I don't think you can't expect him to be the Inoue that fought Emmanuel Rodriguez at bantamweight, or even the Inoue that fought Fulton when he first got to 122. He's fighting bigger punchers now, and he's getting into the mindset of, okay, I'm sharp, I can punch, I am explosive. However, I have to really and truthfully, I have to evolve my boxing skill set more. I have to add other elements to my skills, because if I don't, and I fight one of these big guys at, like Junto or one of the guys at featherweight, and I get hit the wrong way, that's it. You cooked, So I think Yeah, his power isn't going to be the same because I don't think power is his focus. I don't think knockouts are his focus. I think he's maturing as a fighter, and he's understanding that hey, not every fight needs to be a knockout. And you know what? I want to talk about this because and by the way, shout out to Sean Zattel. I know Sean Zattel has been a big story in boxing this week because of the whole Dana White thing, but he brought up a great point that I wanted to talk about here. Is I think with this fight against MJ, Inoue showed a lot. He showed the world that he can box, and he showed the Japanese box community that in these fights of consequence, these big fights, it's okay to win fights by decision because in Japan, they had all the fighters there from the champions to the most domestic level fighters. They have this built-in Bushido code, so they just go to war. They want smoke. They want to punch to the target. They don't care about defense. They just think about offense, right? And I think in a way tonight, he sent a great message to the Japanese boxing community and the youth that it's okay to box, and win these fights. Because recently and over the last couple of years, there have been many deaths in Japan. Most recently, Shigetoshi Kotare, who passed away a couple of years ago with Kazuki Anaguchi, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Japanese fighters are just dying left and right. So I actually feel like this fight, because of how Inoue boxed and with people seeing Inoue box so well against a puncher, it's going to inspire the younger generation of Japanese fighters to definitely box more in terms of like keeping their range and just evolving their skill set, because most Japanese fighters, it's like they want to fight mid-range, they want to punch through the target, they want to be in a war, and they want to be tough. Like that's one thing about it. One thing I can tell you guys from interviewing, like I've interviewed a lot of Japanese fighters. I've interviewed Kenshiro, Seiya Tsutsumi, Kosai Tanaka, Seigo Yuri Akui. Let's see. Yeah, I probably interviewed about roughly, I'm gonna say, Yugo Osaki, of course. I've interviewed him. Yeah, I'm gonna say I've interviewed anywhere from like 12 to 15 Japanese fighters, and the one thing that I've learned throughout these interviews is that Japanese fighters really hang their hat on their toughness. Like their calling card is the toughness, right? Which is good. Sometimes you need to believe that you're tough enough to get through these nervy, hard moments that boxing can present you. But that's also why a lot of them get knocked the hell out. And that's also why, like Jin Sasaki as well, Brian Norman Jr., that's also why, Japan has a high percentage of the stretchers being pulled out for these fights. That's why there's a lot of deaths. So it's, I think Inoue sent a great message tonight to not just the Japanese boxing community, but the youth of Japan, the young fighters. I will 100% agree on BT with this one. Thank you, champ. Inoue showed his greatness. In my opinion, this performance is as good as the Fulton one because people were saying that Inoue was on the decline. You know what? Fair enough. And I still believe that. Like honestly, I still believe that. But I think he's still in his prime, but he's in the latter stage of his prime. And yeah, I mean, for him to deliver that performance against big time puncher, guy that is no joke when he hits you flush. You neutralized him. You basically 12-0'd him. It was great. Bro, boxing like Inoue just did isn't easy. It takes years of training and legit talent. And look, my boy Reverse Lee, he can speak to that because he's actually out there in Japan and he's an aspiring fighter himself. Like, yeah, to first of all, forget even boxing at that level, to have the conditioning to go 12 rounds. To have the conditioning to even go 6 rounds or 3 rounds is a lot. But like there's good fighters, there's champions, there's great fighters, and then there's like guys that master the sport. There's many good fighters and there's many champions, but it's few guys that have mastered the sport. I feel like, Terrence Crawford mastered the sport. Bivol mastered the sport. Usyk mastered the sport. Inoue mastered the sport. Like, highest level of understanding and execution there is. I Am Mexico says, do you think Angelo Leo versus Inoue will actually be made? Maybe Angelo moves up before Inoue did, perhaps. No, I think, yes, I think it's possible. Right now, if I'm being honest, I talk a lot of trash and I get excited and because believe it or not, guys, you guys think I'm talking out of my ass. I really believe the things that come out of my mouth. Anything that you guys hear me say about Angelo Leo or Yuga Osaki, fighters that I know very well, fighters that I'm in the gym with, fighters that I play a role in their career. Like anything I say about them, you can bet your ass I'm not saying anything to bullshit you guys. I believe these things, right? I think Angelo will stay at featherweight for probably like 4 to 5 more fights, right? I think he's making featherweight pretty healthy right now. It's a great weight class for him. I think it's the best version of him. It all really depends on how all this Junto stuff plays out. He's got to get through Picasso. He's got to beat Junto, and then after that, I think if Angelo gets at least another belt by then or wins a significant fight, then I think he's very much in play for the Inoue fight. But I've kind of right now I've kind of ruled that out. Right now, I'm not even thinking about that. I just talk about it because we're live, but really, realistically, I don't even think about that. I'm thinking more like Espinoza. That's what I'm thinking of. I want to chop that tree down. Leo needs to move up to 130 and avenge the Fulton fight. He don't got to move to 130 to do anything. If he wants to stay at 126, why does Angelo got to move to 130 for that? Why didn't Stephen Fulton when he was at featherweight when he had a belt and they could have did a unification rematch? Why didn't Stephen Fulton have to fight Angelo and unify? Why couldn't Angelo have avenged it at featherweight? And my thing is this: if Fulton goes up there and gets spanked by Oshaki Foster and has to come back down to 126, will Fulton have to give Angelo his rematch at 126? Answer that question for me, because everybody's always saying Angelo gotta do this and Angelo gotta do that, which we'd love to, but y'all need to start asking Fulton. Start asking Fulton why. Don't ask Angelo. Ask Fulton. Angelo done said yes. He's been said yes. Go ask Fulton. Uzbek power was all talk. Eddie Hearn talked a lot of shit. Listen, from the Eddie Hearn side of things, let's break this down because a lot of you guys have been going off on Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn literally just wanted to cash out on his investment, right? Let's be real. He's not gonna make any real money with Murodjon Akmadaliev. This was the only way he would ever get a return on his investment with Murodjon Akmadaliev. So honestly, he won. Like Eddie Hearn won. He got his return on his investment, and mission accomplished. Now, if Murodjon would have won, then sure. I think that's fine for you to believe that Leo beats Inoue, but you talked about Inoue versus Leo like a huge Inoue hater. What did I say? I want you to be as specific as humanly possible. What did I say that made me sound like a hater? Are you mad that I said that if they fight, Inoue is going to get bashed up? I believe that. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to that. And y'all are, so it's okay for everyone to say, oh, your friends and they be pissing blood and get all these crazy comments I get, but I can't say that Angelo can bash up Inoue. Why can't I say that? But I want to put words in your mouth. Why do I sound like a hater? Like, Inoue is one of my favorite fighters of all time. If anything, it'd be an honor to fight him. He's one of the best fighters out there. Eddie Hearn was present at Donovan versus Crocker too. Yeah, that was his main thing. It was a big day for Irish boxing. I guess with that fight, it was the first time 2 Irish fighters fought for a world title. So, I guess, but I mean, you got one of your guys fighting one of the biggest names in the sport. So I feel like he should have been there. They had Frank Smith over there. The other guy from Matchroom. Also, Inoue is going to run through Picasso. Picasso's team turned down the Inoue fight ages ago. Picasso is getting walloped in 5 rounds. Listen, I make this joke all the time about Picasso because Picasso is like a part-time college student. And he says that, he balances boxing with college, which is great. Like, definitely go to school, right? Better your education, great. But I've been saying that, if he's a part-time college student after this fight, Inoue going to turn him into a full-time college student. Ain't no college student beating Inoue. I think a prime Chocolatito, despite the size difference, would win. I thought that too. I thought that they would have fought back then because Inoue also wasn't as experienced as he is now. Yo, speaking of Roman Gonzalez, I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch his fight, but I saw some clips. Yo, I love Roman Gonzalez, but brother, it is about that time. You had your time, you did your thing, you were a great fighter. But shout out to Arm & Hammer. You were a great fighter, Roman Gonzalez, but like I think it's that time, man. Like we look washed. He fought some Mexican guy. A lot of people were saying that he should have lost to the Mexican guy. So you know what? Father Time is undefeated, and he's a great fighter. But I think it's about that time, you know. Because my thing is like, why are you still fighting? Like you're not fighting for a world title. You're not trying to become a fighter division champion. Like there's no point anymore. Are you in Japan now? No, I'm not. I'm not in Japan. You know, it's funny. Everyone always thinks I'm in Japan. YouTube viewers think I'm in Japan. My friends in Florida think I'm in Japan. My friends in Vegas think I'm in Japan. I haven't been to Japan since May. I've been in America since like no. I haven't been to Japan since June. But it's just funny how like everybody always thinks I'm in Japan. I'm not going to Japan to probably like the Inoue Nakatani fight. That's another reason. That's another thing. I'm hoping that Inoue Nakatani fight because I want to go to the fight. I want to like go and get some content and do my thing out there. Inquisitor says because you like Japanese women so much. I mean, I like women of all cultures and all nationalities. We don't discriminate over here, but Japanese women aren't my preference. I like Mexican girls. Like the Mexican girls in LA, Arizona. That's my preference, but listen, I've seen some nice Japanese women in my time out there. They're nice. Do you all have any tips to meet girls in Japan before I leave, please? Any tips? Nigga, just get out and just talk, man. Just go out and have fun. Like, don't overthink it. Just go out and just talk. If you got any outgoing Japanese friends, that always helps too. As good as Nakatani is, Inoue stopping him. Nakatani was throwing wild punches in his last fight because obviously Nishida has no power. Correct. Yeah, and learn Japanese. If you can learn, that's another thing. If you can learn Japanese, you're gonna be all right. But if you don't know Japanese, you're gonna have a hard time. Unless of course they know English. Do you practice boxing yourself or just watch it? I trained today. I trained earlier today. But I just train to stay in shape. That's how I learned about boxing. Everyone thinks that I just learned about boxing by just watching it. No, I learned about boxing because when I was like 19 years old, 18 years old, and I was going through depression and I wanted to off myself, boxing was my like escape. Like I used boxing to deal with a lot of anxiety and depression I used to have when I was like a teenager many, many, many years ago. So I dealt with all that by going to the gym and getting my ass kicked and sparring people and learning about boxing and things like that. But I just try to stay in shape and I've been covering boxing for 10 years here on YouTube and been all over the world to cover boxing. And now I'm getting kind of like into like the actual inside of boxing because I've been a part of training camps like as like a liaison / advisor / concierge to fighters like Angelo Leo and now Yuka Osaki. So that's what it is. Well, if you reverse, if you speak a little bit of Japanese, then you should be all right. Just go out and just start talking to people. Do you make a living from YouTube or do you have a regular job? Why do y'all like to ask these questions? Y'all like to ask me these police ask questions. Like people are like, yo, do you have a regular job? How much do you make? What's your social security number? No, to answer your question, I haven't had a regular job since 2019. So to answer your question, just boxing. You need to fight against the YouTuber that trashes Inoue all the time. I mean, I ain't no punk, so if it came down to it, I ain't got no problem, but we ain't trying to fight no more right now. We're just chilling. Just chilling. Inoue is Bob's favorite. Oh, he loves Inoue. That's his favorite. That's like his new Lomachenko, his new Crawford. Because, Bob, quiet as kept. Bob used to say that Terrence Crawford was better than Marvin Hagler, which, now, when you think about it, what do you guys think? Now, I don't think it sounds so crazy because, the guy is literally a 5-division champion. The guy is 3-time undisputed. I don't think he beat I don't think he beat better fighters than Marvin Hagler, but it's very possible that he's better than Marvin Hagler as far as his career and what he accomplished. Every pretty Mexican girl I know loves Canelo. Shit, that's why I like him too. Shit, I love Canelo. I used to not like Canelo until I started going to his fights. Then that changed everything. Now I like Canelo. Canelo. Let me see. Shout out to everyone here. What are we at right now? Like 76 minutes. So I'm gonna go 15 more minutes. I'm gonna go all the way to the 90-minute mark, and then I'm gonna wrap it up and go right to sleep because I need to go to sleep. I've been up for more than a day already. I've been up for like 33 hours straight. Up to my eyeballs in boxing. Going to the gym. I was in the gym today with Yuga for training. Then I went to the watch party. Then I came back home, made some videos. Then I went to the watch. Then I went to the watch party. Then I went live after Inoue Crawford. Then I watched Inoue's fight. Now I'm live. So listen, a full day of boxing. Full fun day of boxing. I know it's crazy, but I want to see Bivol versus Bud for 4-division undisputed. I mean, in this day and age, shit, nothing's really ever off the table. Nothing's ever off the table, and I mean, who am I to say what Terrence can't do? Terrence has defied all the odds his whole life. I think Canelo. Well, where is it? Did Crawford win gold in the Olympics? No, he didn't. He never won gold in the Olympics. He wasn't even an Olympian. He was not like he was a good amateur domestically, but he was not like he wasn't Mayweather. He wasn't like that. He wasn't even Shakur. Like as far as the amateur is concerned, a lot of the promoters when he came out the amateurs was not checking for Terrence Crawford. They were checking for like Brandon Rios, Danny Garcia, these kind of guys. Terrence Crawford literally fought early in his career on Brandon Rios undercards on the prelims. So that will show you and tell you how far he's come. Reverse Lee says, I see fine ones every day. Most of them have boyfriends with them. Been very busy with training. Might go somewhere tonight. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just go somewhere. Just go somewhere and talk. Just talk to people. Like, try to find some things in common with people. Like everybody always thinks when I go to Japan that I'm out there just, messing with chicks, which honestly, believe it or not, guys, like when I'm in Japan, I'm actually extra locked into boxing. It's crazy. Like girls are actually the last thing on my mind when I'm in Japan. What are your thoughts on Yoshiki Takei today? I didn't even watch the fight because I watched Uni Takada's fight, and then I went to sleep up into the main event. I had to squeeze at least some rest in just to have enough energy to do this live. So I didn't see his fight, but he lost, and I'm not shocked because I've been telling you guys, anybody who will listen, I've been telling you that Yoshiki Takei is supremely overrated, and they need to stop hating on they need to stop hating on Seiya Tsutsumi because he's better than him. And they're not really giving him that push. And Takei, I don't know. When I was in Japan, I just felt like he was being promoted way too damn much. It's ridiculous. Which, you know, good for him. I'm glad he gets to have a legitimate boxing career, and I understand he was a big time kickboxing star, but like he's not like that. Like, can you imagine what kind of pressure is on Naoya Inoue's shoulders? Oh, every fight, dude is trying to take your head off. You got the whole country of Japan on your shoulders. You know, you got to always push the envelope, and sometimes that's not even enough. The people still expect a higher standard, so it's crazy. Finally, the Japanese bantamweight era is over. None of them fought, so it was just a pointless circus. I agree. Tsutsumi never fought Junto. Well, no, that's not true. Junto did fight Nishida, you know, but like Junto Nishida wasn't a fight that, I mean, I really wanted to see. I wanted to see Junto versus Tsutsumi or Tsutsumi versus Takei. And he carries that way like a damn demon. He does. He really, really does. It's hard. You know, when you're at that level of like a Crawford or Canelo or Inoue, or those kind of guys, every fight is massive. Do you think Inoue is shy as fuck, or has he changed that? I think he's very shy. But a lot of Japanese people are very shy. At least in public settings, they they don't like talking like that unless they're amongst their friends or family. Yeah, he probably is shy to a degree. What are my thoughts on Reito Susumi's performance? What thoughts are there to have? It's pretty straightforward. He beat the brakes off Javier Martinez. He blitzed him, and the guy Martinez didn't have no answer for him. So that's what I make of it. You know, Susumi's one of the top young Japanese fighters out there. I'm still trying to figure out why I class him amongst the top young Japanese fighters, but he's really talented. Hashimoto and Saki Mahar right now, not far from Hachioji. Inoue never seemed shy. Did you see him against Butler? I'm talking about outside the ring. I'm not talking about inside the ring. Fighters have different personalities inside and outside the ring oftentimes. I know fighters that, you know, I know fighters that have fought on the biggest stages. And I'm not talking about Angelo. So if you guys think I'm talking about Angelo, it's not him. But I know fighters that have fought on the biggest stages that, you know, been on TV, fought in front of millions, fought in front of 10,000, 50,000 people, but they can't talk to girls. Like, so you'd be surprised how shy some of these fighters get. They can take punches and go to war on TV and risk embarrassment or getting knocked out on TV, but they can't even talk to broads. Like, it's crazy. What are my thoughts on Topuria fighting and boxing? The same thoughts I have for every MMA fighter in boxing. He's going to get fucked up if he comes to boxing. I don't know what other thoughts I should have. Why the hell is a Saudi Arabian boxer at the Ring Magazine undercard? Well, I mean, let's like not. I don't want to sound like a hater, but it's just pointing out the painfully obvious truth. The reason why there's a Saudi Arabian fighter on the main part of a big card like this is because Turkey al-Sheikh to Saudi Arabia, and he's trying to showcase boxers from his country, which in one aspect, like, I do respect it. Like, he's trying to put fighters from his country on the map, but on the other aspect of it, yo, they suck. Like, they're not like that yet. Like, give these young kids some time to develop. Don't put them on that stage yet. They're not ready for that. Let them develop and get better training and just go through the proper process and earn that spot. Don't just give that to them. So, like, what was that kid's name? Mohammed Bilakal or some shit like that. Like, he's what? I think he's like he's 6-0 and he's 6-0 with one knockout. Like, good little fighter, decent little skills, but like, nah, man. The Saudi Arabian boxing has a long way to go. Like, forget even catching up to like Japan or you know, America or even British boxing. Like I don't know. They got a lot of work. Did you say something about what the emo hair said to Dana about the Ali Act? I made a whole video about it. I made a whole short about it. I talked about it last night on my live. Yeah, of course I talked about it. it was the biggest thing in the whole buildup. Amir Khan is the greatest Middle Eastern boxer that has ever lived. Amir Khan was great. Amir Khan did his thing. He was definitely a star of the sport. Probably, in my opinion, actually a bit of an underachiever. But it's still a fantastic fighter. Yeah, I mean, with Sean in Turkey, or not Turkey, Sean and Dana White. I mean, look, I'm proud. I'm proud of Sean. I'm proud of Sean. I'm happy that he spoke out against a legitimate issue in the sport, and I'm hoping that Dana White actually goes ahead and gives him the interview. Sean actually called me last night. We talked on the phone for like 2 hours, and so I got great insight into what the game plan is as far as him going to get the Dana White interview, and I'm looking forward to him getting it in the near future. I don't know if you talked about it, but RIP Ricky Hatton. It's literally in the title, Alex, and I started the live off the first 5 minutes talking about Ricky Hatton. It's sad, but it goes to show you life is but a vapor, I was also talking about I had a friend that I knew through YouTube from the UK who I used to talk to all the time on Instagram. He used to be in the chat all the time, and I haven't heard from him for months, almost a year. So I went on his profile the other day to see what he was up to, and I found out he was dead because apparently he had OCD and he just couldn't live with his OCD anymore, and he just threw himself in front of a train in the UK. So I just found that out 2 days ago. So you don't know people are going through. You don't know what demons or skeletons are in their closet. That's why at this stage of my life I'm trying to be as kind as possible to everyone I meet, because there's things personally that I go through that I don't talk about here on YouTube, but try to extend that grace to other people. I'm excited for the Yugo Osaki fight. Hopefully we can watch it. If you guys can't watch it, there's gonna be a bunch of content on it. So even if you can't watch it, we'll find a way to make you guys watch it, one way or the other. Make you guys feel like you're there, because I'm going. The fight's all the way up in upstate New York at the Seneca Casino. It's gonna be in Niagara Falls. I've never been to Niagara Falls, so we'll be going out there thinking about 2 weeks. So looking forward to it. It's a big fight. It's a light flyweight eliminator. If we win this fight, then Yuga is the mandatory to Rene Santiago, and God willing, Inoue and Nakatani keep winning, and then I would love Yuga Osaki to fight on the undercard for the world title on the undercard of Inoue and Nakatani. What do you guys think about that? I got 66 of you guys here. What do you guys think about Yuga Osaki, one of the next young Japanese fighters, fighting for a world title on the Inoue Nakatani undercard against Rene Santiago? What do you guys think about that? Top Rank should have put the fight on YouTube. They ain't shit. That's what I'm saying. I wasn't against them having it on Facebook because I have Facebook, and Facebook is free, and Facebook does have a lot of users, and I'm sure the final numbers for the fight viewership is gonna be very high, but they could have put it on YouTube. I think it probably would have did even better on YouTube. Is Top Rank bad management? Traditionally, no. But in Inoue's case, Top Rank is not their main promoter. They just have his American TV rights. So what Top Rank does with Inoue, it matters, but it doesn't really matter to him like it does other fighters, because his main market is not the American market. His main market is the Japanese market. So what's really important to him is being on Lamino and being just being on those platforms. But right now, Top Rank doesn't have a network because the ESPN deal ran out. So I can't believe Top Rank is in this state. I never thought I would be this. I never thought I would live long enough to see Top Rank get to this stage where it's trying times, it's desperate times, it's bad. I'm arguing with the car fan in the comments on one of your videos right now as we speak. Hey, well, shout out to you, man. Keep you guys keep commenting. Get that algorithm going. Get those views up. Nah, that's cool. But guys, look, on that note, that's my time for this live. I will have other post-fight review videos for Crawford, Canelo, Inoue, Murodjon as well as undercard fights for both cards as well. So stay tuned for those. Watch out for the YouTube shorts. And I'll probably live Monday night. If not Monday night, then Tuesday night. But yeah, man, we're working hard here in camp with Yugo Osaki. It's the end of a very, very long week. And I'm happy that it's the end of a long week. But listen, you guys take care. I'll see you guys soon. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.